Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my scope tonight. Welcome, welcome. Let me just fix the camera just there. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me this evening. Tonight, I'm very, very excited, like every night, to share with you all about the topic of sexuality. And this night, in particular, we're going to be talking about love. Yes, love, 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 love. Barry Selby, welcome. I think you're new. If you're new, I'd love to know if Barry is your name. And if not, let me know what your name is. I'm gonna just adjust myself a little bit here. Perfect. So again, welcome to everyone who's just joining. Thank you for coming on. Happy Monday to everyone. I hope you guys had a beautiful, you are talking about my arena. Barry, thank you for joining. I hope that you find what I am talking about tonight interesting. So for all of you who are new, welcome to my Periscopes. I am on every evening at 9 o'clock in English and at 9:30 in Spanish. I am also on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. and 9:15ish a.m. In the Spanish, doing morning inspirations. So if you're looking for some self-development and personal growth stuff, check me out on weekdays in the morning, and then every evening here at 9 o'clock, I am delivering a conversation, a topic around sexuality. So tonight's conversation is around love. And, you know, one of the things that has come up throughout our interactions, you know, my audience here on Periscope, is this idea of relationships and love and, you know, how to navigate that space. And one of the things that I really want to talk about today is how do we define love? You know, there's an idea, right? Love is an idea. It's also a feeling. It's energy, right? So for me, love is the purest form of energy. That's how I can really define it for myself. And some people might agree with that. Some people might see love just as a feeling. No, there's no right or wrong, right? It's what does it mean to you and how do you see it? But one of the things that I have come to learn throughout the years and really enjoy talking about with my audience is how love is different and can manifest differently in relationships, right? And this to me is more about, you know, what forms of love can be embodied in partnerships. So I thought I would take some time and go through just one theory today. There are many theories on love out there and the different components and dimensions of love. This is one that I'm going to share with you. And, you know, I'd love to get some feedback on what is your impression of this, this theory, right? Because everything in life really is a theory. So this is the triangle of love. It is the theory of Sternberg. So you can look up Sternberg's triangular theory of love and find it. I actually want to show you all the image. So give me 1 second so that we can all just take a look at the image of the triangle. So basically, I'm going to keep the image up because I think that might be the most helpful for us all to visually see it. And what I want us to kind of talk about tonight and look, hola miracles, welcome, welcome. I invite you all to invite your followers. Tonight's topic is love. And we're talking specifically about one theory of love, which is Sternberg's triangular theory of love. And it's really, it's not about it being a triangle as much as it having these three components, these three dimensions of love, being intimacy, commitment, and passion, right? So those are the three components of love, the three dimensions. And I want to explain for us what each of these components are defined as. So I'm actually gonna see you all. So when we talk about, the dimensions of love, the three dimensions of love, what are we talking about, right? So when we talk about intimacy, we're really talking about the feelings of closeness, the feelings of connectedness, of vulnerability with your significant other, right? How strong is your connection and your bond with your partner? That is what we're talking about when we talk about intimacy. And that's very different and in some ways very removed from the misconception or the idea, in our society and in pop culture and the media, that intimacy is sex. That's actually not, by the definitions of this theory, where intimacy really is defined. So again, intimacy is the feelings of closeness, connectedness, and how strong of an emotional bond you have with your partner. Right, so the second dimension, right, of Sternberg's triangular theory of love is commitment. Commitment. And this is really, I love this theory because it talks about commitment as a choice and a decision that you are making to stay in a relationship. Right? So how committed are you to work through the rough patches? Right? How committed are you to really be committed? How committed are you to the commitment to that person? Right? And one of the things that I've come to really understand about commitment is that if you're not taking yourself seriously, like you yourself in your life, in your purpose, then it's really hard to take a relationship seriously. It's really hard for anyone else to take you seriously. And this tends to cause a lot of breakdowns in relationships. So look at that, when you ask yourself about commitment, ask yourself, am I committed to myself? Because that's where commitment begins. If you're committed to yourself, then you are willing and able to be committed to a relationship. So once again, commitment as defined by Sternberg is the decision to stay in a relationship. It is almost like taking a vow. You can physically take a vow by getting married, right? That's one way to take a vow. But the second way is really that oath to that commitment, that vow to that commitment. Okay. The third dimension of Sternberg's triangle is passion. Yes, passion. And passion is here defined as the intensity of your sexual desires towards your partner. Right? So this includes your attraction, your physical and sexual attraction to the person. It includes your romantic attachment to that person, right? So how interwoven do you feel your life is with that person's life? How much do you want that person, right? Wanting to be around that person, with that person, near that person, that is where passion really comes into play. So these are the 3 dimensions of love, right? And then where it gets, really to the relationship level is when we look at, you don't necessarily have to have or do have all 3 of these dimensions in your relationship at any given time. So I want to flip back to the diagram and show it again, because here we get to see really the difference and almost like the phases of love that can happen. So, for example, if you only have intimacy, right, you feel emotionally connected to someone, the likelihood is that you're liking that person. If you are intimate, right, you have an emotional closeness to the person and a physical closeness, then that's romantic love. So again, when it's purely physical, right, when there's only passion present, we see it as infatuation. And later on in another scope, I'll talk more about infatuation and what that looks like and how that's a part of a relationship. It's a stage in a relationship. So when we are solely committed, I want us all to kind of take a look at that. It's empty love, right? And that's a true phenomenon in our society these days, where people are only in a commitment. The closeness, the intimacy, the passion has lost its existence in the relationship, and people choose, right, because everything is a choice, people choose to stay in that. And that is a type of love, right? And then if you look, consummate in the middle, consummate love is the combination of all 3, right? And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is really honing in on, what does that mean? What does it mean to really live in consummate love, right? That takes work. That takes commitment. It takes, a commitment not just to that relationship. It takes a commitment to doing the work. It takes a commitment to really continuously cultivating that closeness, to really commit to being physically engaged with your significant other. It's a different level of playing in a relationship, right? It's committing to being fully engaged and fully playing on the court in your relationship. So to recap tonight's talk, we went over briefly the Sternberg's triangular theory of love. It's based on 3 components or 3 dimensions: intimacy, commitment, and passion. And based on these 3, there are different manifestations or combinations of love. So you have, and I'll show the image once again and welcome any new viewers. This is Sternberg's triangular theory of love, where the 3 components are intimacy, commitment, and passion. And then the words around are the types of relationships that can come of that love, right? So you can have a liking relationship where there is purely intimacy. You can have compassionate. Consummate is really the ultimate form of love, right in the center, where all 3 are part of it. Apologies for my dog. She's barking spree today, And, you know, she's being a dog. So that is the talk for tonight. I hope that that was not too much overwhelming information, but just enough to get us to really think about, you know, how are we showing up in love? Are we committed? Are we committed to having not just that relationship, but the intimacy and the passion to really be an entirely consummate relationship and consummate love? So I will leave you there. May you have a passionate evening, and until tomorrow.